All right, awesome. All right, so welcome back to day two. Hopefully day one was good, not too overwhelming. I know it's a new concept for many of you, but a really important concept and tool in your marketing and sales toolkit. So before we dive in, I'm gonna just go over the different sources of collecting data from our customers. But before I do that, are there any questions that came up um, after yesterday? Maybe you were thinking about it. Maybe you were trying to collect some customer data. Were there any questions that I can answer before we dive into today's session? Because today's session is going to be um, very hands-on. We're going to actually build this out together. And no worries. Yeah, if you missed yesterday, no worries at all. The replays are gonna go out on Friday. The good news is that it's a lot of when you're teaching this to your customers, to your sub accounts, when you're passing this on, it's really good to understand the why we're doing this and why it's so important, right? Why it's such an important tool. And so that's really what yesterday covered, but you'll have that on the replay. The good news is that you don't really need to know everything that we covered yesterday in order to build this out. It's really straightforward to build it out. It's just we covered why, what it is and why it's so important yesterday. So I'm going to go ahead, and we went a little over yesterday. I'm going to be really careful with timing today because I know I promised you guys 1 hour session. So I really want to keep it to that. And again, we went over also because we had a lot of questions at the end, which we're happy to do again today. But again, just want to make sure that that the bulk of what we're covering today, we are actually covering in time. So let me go ahead and share my screen here really quick. I'm actually not here. I'm not going to go into presenter mode, but I'm just going to share my Canva screen here. All right, so this is kind of where we left off yesterday. We were talking about all the different ways to collect customer data. And for those of you that missed yesterday, voice of customer is simply collecting what your customers are saying on all these different platforms and uploading them into heyLevi to let the AI pull out themes for you, right? This is really what helps you make your messaging land with your customers. And we talked about yesterday how when you describe a customer's pain point, they know that you get them, right? When you can describe it to them. When you describe it to them in their own words, they automatically believe that you have the solution, right? And this is before you've tried to even start selling to them. And that's really the key about why VOC is so important. It's so that you can mirror your customer's language back to them in all of your sales and marketing messaging, right? So these are all the different places where you can pull your customer's language from. We talked about how social media was best only when it was layered with everything else, unless that's the only place that you have, data to collect from. So anyone here not have anything to plug into VOC today? I want to start there because I want to make sure that everyone has something to plug in and work with us. I lost my chat window. 1 second. There we go. All right, so I'm not seeing anyone in the chat at least saying, can you guys give me a one if you have something to plug into VOC today based on any one of these or a combination of these into VOC? And if you don't, that's okay, just say zero. Okay, so we have one of you that doesn't. Most of you do, that's awesome. Awesome. Okay. So for those of you that do, you're going to be able to follow along and do this. For those of you that don't, you'll get more value out of the second part of this, where we actually pull VOC into customer avatars. Because if you're not using VOC, you're not using voice of customer data, what Gen AI is going to do for you inside of heyLevi, it's going to fill in those blanks for you. It's going to use the data it already has about your market segments to fill in those blanks for you. So it's still going to be really helpful. You're going to get a lot out of it. Yeah, if you can follow along, if you can plug in some stuff, and even if you can just quickly grab something from social media, if you already know what your customers are saying, maybe you've been looking at I don't know, the GHL community Facebook group, right? Where people are saying something. You're like, I really need to use that in my messaging. If you have anything like that that comes to mind, not too late, just go ahead and grab it, put it in a Google Doc. You can start then export it as a TXT file. Okay, but all you need are TXT files to really represent what your customers are saying. right? Also wanted to quickly throw a question out at you. For those of you that were here yesterday, I want to see if you guys can connect the dots here for me. So yesterday I had a different emoji here. I had a thumbs down. And I was thinking later that that wasn't really a fair thing because I personally don't like to start with social media. But I'm not saying don't use social media, right? Social media is good layered on top, but it's not really truly always representative of what your customers are actually thinking. So I changed this to pancakes. And I'm wondering if anyone can guess why I thought pancakes was a better emoji or icon or whatever than the thumbs down. Any guesses at all? Feel free to unmute.
They taste good, but they're not good for you.
That is true. That is true. Yeah, social media can feel good. It's not always good for you. I actually really like that. But yes, layers. That's exactly what it is. It's good to layer on top of something else where your customers are directly telling you what they want versus trying to be somebody that they may not be on social media. Awesome. Cool. Okay, so with that, we're going to go ahead and dive right into VOC. So I'm going to, I think I closed that tab. Shoot, hold on. Give me 1 second. I'm going to open this up here. Oops. If you guys are doing this inside of your GHL accounts, that's fine. This is the standalone, so ignore that part. Ignore the logging in part. But let's navigate over to Voice of Customer. Can you zoom in again? Yes, let's see if I can remember how to now. Let's see. Come on, brain, work. This, yeah, zoom. There we go. Yay, I remember. Okay, is that better? $3. Thanks. Is that better? Can you guys see what's on my screen? A little more? Okay. Okay. Better? It's like really big now on in my face. Okay. Cool. So what we're gonna do is you probably, unless you've played with this before, you may not have anything here at all, which is totally fine. Just go ahead and say add voice of customer, right? You want to make sure that your target audience is representative of who these customers are that you're gathering data from. Again, if you're this, let's say you're getting this, this is where I pray to the who canal.
The tech guards, the demo guards, that everything works
fine. Yes, our CTO is praying to the tech gods. I don't think that's a very good sign. You shouldn't say that out loud next time, Kunal.
Okay, I'm gonna preface this before the demo. You go ahead with the demo, but you can prep for any and every demo. There's always something that goes wrong. So I'm hoping that this is gonna be an exception to that, and this will work.
Can you guys tell who's the more positive one in our marriage? Pray for the demo. All right, guys. So everyone at this step, you guys have VOC open and you're looking at your audience field here. Yes. Okay, so who is your target audience? This is going to automatically pull in your brand level customer avatar. Okay, it just does this. If you've been using heyLevi, this is no surprise, right? It automatically pulls in your brand customer avatar everywhere and then waits for you to tell it if you want to edit it, you want to change it to something else, you want to pull in, let's say, a customer avatar at the product level. So this is where you define, is this really representative of the customers that you're pulling in data from right now? Okay, so that part is important. So go ahead and edit this if you need to. You can just replace the whole thing with a better description of the customers that you've collected this data from, or you can just edit what's in here. And then just so I know I'm not leaving anyone behind, once you have your target audience done here, go ahead and upload your transcripts. It says transcripts, but really all the TXT files that you've collected to do this. So anyone who doesn't have these, again, just follow along in case you decide to do this in the future. Really powerful tool, I promise. But again, just follow along here, just watch us do this part, and then you'll be able to follow along with the next part as we do that, which is the customer avatar stuff. All right, there we go. Let me just admit a couple more folks in. Okay, so let's see where I have those. I'm gonna quickly grab them. And you can grab them all at once. So we've had this question come up a few times where people have gotten confused about whether they need to add them or upload them one at a time. You can just grab them all. So let me just navigate to mine really quick. Let's see. Call transcript. Here we go. I'm going to use the Aqua Pods example that I had yesterday just to show you guys how it works. Even though this isn't going to be completely relevant to anything that any of us are doing. These are, if you weren't here yesterday, I used an example of Aqua water pods that are a replacement for water bottles. Better sourced water, cleaner water, and the pods that they come in are not as harmful to the environment as plastic is. So for those people that are concerned about the environment. So just as an example for today, we're going to go ahead with that again. Let's see, I think I have them here. So you can do between 5 and 10. You want to do at least 5 of them if you can, but it'll allow you to drag in a maximum of 10 TXT files. So I'm going to go ahead and drag them all here. There's 10 of them there, and it's going to automatically start analyzing the transcripts. All right, so I think my brand customer avatar here is somebody who is, let's see, who do I have in here? I didn't even check. She owns us. Okay, so local business owner. So we're going to pretend in this demo, we're going to pretend that this is a local business that we are selling these pods to so that she can sell them in her shop to her customers. Once you guys have your transcripts uploaded, put a 1 in the chat for me so I know that you're with me. All right, we have a few ones coming in. We'll wait for a few more. Let us know if you're stuck anywhere, but it should look like this. Once you've got them all uploaded, you'll see them all here. It'll say file 1, file 2, etc. And when you hover over them, it'll give you a little summary, which is really useful in case you ever come in here and you're like, you know what, I want to refresh this. I want to actually upload newer transcripts here. It'll quickly show you which ones these are so you can decide which ones to delete, and then you can replace them with newer ones. All right, still waiting for a few more ones. Let me know if you guys are still working on it. Put a 2 if you're still working on it and a 1 if you're done. Awesome. We have a few more ones coming in. Awesome, awesome. All right. So yeah, you should be able to see something like this as you are hovering over these. Cool. All right. So we have a few more ones coming in. So I'm going to move forward. So, but again, if you guys get stuck anywhere, just let me know. All right. So once you hover over them, you're like, okay, these are the ones that I intended to upload. Go ahead and say extract voice of customer. And now it's going to match your transcripts with the audience or customer avatar description that you put on top to extract what these customers are saying and what their pain points are, what their goals are, what we call jobs to be done, which is a very common term in product marketing and larger tech companies. What that simply means is the immediate task to be done. What is that task that they are trying to get done? On a functional, social, and emotional level. So what is that thing that they're trying to do, right? We've all heard I think it's an Alex Hormozy example about the car. I feel like it's an Alex Hormozy example. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's where I heard it. That when somebody buys a car, didn't he have this in his $100 million book where he talks about somebody's wife? Was it his wife? Anyway, somebody's wife who wanted pickup truck. Katie, you're laughing at me. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know the example I'm talking about? No. Okay. So let me try and say this in a way where I actually sound more confident than I do right now. So somebody's wife had an option of buying, I'm going to make part of this up. The 3 levels are emotional, social, and functional. So this guy was talking about his wife who had the opportunity to either buy a sports car, like a fancy car, or an SUV. And she chose the SUV. And it was really interesting to dive into why she chose that. And it came down to her emotional and social, more importantly, social job to be done, which was to show her friends that she was a good soccer mom. If she had a flashy sports car, she may not have been able to keep that image of being a good soccer mom who was there for her kids. So again, really important to understand what somebody's not just functional needs are. That one's the easier one, but what their social and emotional needs are, right? So that's what the AI is going to do for you. And so something that I mentioned yesterday, if you weren't here, is that keep in mind that larger tech companies like Apple and Amazon that I've worked with in the past, these guys have very well-paying product marketing teams, right? And these product marketers are actually better paid than digital marketers because they do all of this customer research, right? They spend a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of resources on doing the stuff that we are trying to democratize for the smaller business owner to be able to leverage the same tools, the same approaches to messaging, but without the big expensive team and the large budgets and all of that, right? So this is where the magic comes to life. This is literally a tool where you upload these transcripts and it does all the work for you in seconds or minutes. So what it's done here is it's given me my market segment here so I can remember who this was about, right? And then it's pulled in my key themes. So these are the themes, the common things that are coming up in these transcripts. It's telling me that these customers, based on these transcripts, are talking about these themes most often. You may see one theme here, you may see two, you may see three. Not everyone's going to see three the three that I see on my screen. It's all going to depend on how many common themes are there in the transcripts that you upload, and what has it been able to pull out and kind of match together. No themes appearing. Okay, Dominic, do you want to share your screen? I can stop sharing if you're comfortable sharing your screen so we can take a quick look. Here, let me stop sharing for a second here.
Sure, here you go. Can you see it okay?
Yeah, so those are the themes on top. So if you scroll up a little bit, yeah, those are the themes: the space and storage needs, customization and modification needs, and financial flexibility and cost concerns. So you have three
We
themes.
have to select one of those. I got it. I'm sorry for the confusion. Thanks.
No worries at all. Yeah. I'm glad you asked in case anybody else is confused as well. But yes, so the next thing you do, let me share my screen again, is select a theme, right? That's where Dominic was looking. All right. Cool. Yeah. So you'll see the key themes listed up here so that you can refer to them and see which ones you want to actually dive deeper into. So in this case, delivery and shipping issues, this might be something that I want to pass on to my fulfillment team if I have a fulfillment team, right? Product usage and understanding, this is something that I think would be key in my messaging. And sustainability and environmental impact. Now, this I think is going to be the most important for these aqua water pods if I want my customers who are small local shops to sell my water pods. I probably want to focus on these two things more than anything else, right? So let's say I want to dive into the sustainability and environmental impact theme first. So I'm going to go ahead and select that here. Now, as soon as I do that, it's going to highlight, just scroll down, and it's going to highlight where those things came up. Okay, in this little table format. It's going to show me exactly where those themes came up and exactly what words and phrases these customers used to describe this. Okay, and it's going to tell me, has it classified it as a jobs to be done or a job to be done, sorry, a pain or a gain, which is basically a benefit, right? Gains are just benefits. What is that benefit? What is that value that your customers are looking for? Let me open up my chat here really quick. Okay, great. So everyone see this on their screens? Yes? Now, something that I mentioned yesterday is that I don't want anyone to get hung up on trying to clean up these transcripts before uploading them. So, okay, so that's a great question, actually. Patrick, I just saw your question. It looks like Kunal answered it already, but that's exactly what I was going to talk about. So in terms of your transcripts having timestamps, maybe some typos, maybe some, I don't know, misinterpreted words, you don't have to worry about any of that because the AI is going to clean all that up and still analyze it correctly. Now, it won't always be able to clean your transcript. If any of you used something like Descript, you'll see that a lot of times AI will not get every word correct. And you don't have to clean that up beforehand. That's the magic of this. You literally just take what you have. It's like a data dump of customer information, and you just, not information, but their words, and just upload it into the system. Here is where you can, if you need to, you don't have to, but if you really want to go in and kind of nitpick these and edit them, it's already done 90% plus of the work for you. This is the bulk of what product marketers do at larger companies. They spend weeks doing exactly this, like going in, collecting all the data, like manually highlighting, on a spreadsheet, like what the common themes are, categorizing them. That's all done for you in like a minute here. Okay. So, but if you want to, let's say this is let's say I want to edit this, right? I feel like this shouldn't be, do you have any data or reports? They were actually saying you need to have, I don't know, this is a stupid example, honestly, but I'm just showing you that you can edit these if you wanted to. If any of this feels like a lot, just know you can upload your transcripts or your data and just let the AI do its work. You don't even have to edit anything. 9 times out of 10, or I would say 9.5 times out of 10, it will get everything right for you. So I'm just giving you extra editing capabilities if you are one of those users that's like, I really want this, or if you have customers who are like, I really want to edit this so that it's exactly right. Okay, so you can edit anything here. To delete something, all you have to do is just delete the whole thing. And when you save it, that line will disappear. You can add something. You're like, I really remember this customer saying this. I would caution against adding things in here because maybe you thought you heard it and it wasn't actually there. Otherwise, the AI would have picked it up. But if you're confident that I know that they said this and it isn't here, you can actually add in whatever you want here as well. All right. And if you want to change the theme it's been allotted to by the AI, you can do that as well. So let's say, we're looking at the sustainability and environmental impact. These are the ones that have been attributed to this theme. Let's say I also think pod materials is very much something to do with the environmental impact. So I'm going to add this to this theme as well. All right. And I can go ahead and save it. Cool. Everyone following so far? Any questions at all? Okay, everyone looks like you're working very seriously, so I'm going to take that as a good sign. Excellent. Okay, awesome. Okay, and then when you scroll down, it's going to give you, so in this case, it didn't find any social and emotional jobs. But again, if you wanted to go in here and be like, no, that's not right. It's going to show you those here. Any like jobs to be done, it's going to show you whether it categorizes it as functional, social, or emotional. Let's say in this example, I'm not seeing any social or emotional themes here, but let's say I really think, can I get a refund is an emotional job to be done, right? It's an emotional need that they have. I could just mark that here and then I'll show up in my summary below. In this case, it's just a refund. It's not anything, I don't think. So I'm not going to do that, but just know that these are all editable and whatever you edit here is going to reflect down here. So it's as hands off or hands on as you want it to be. That's the main thing here. Patrick, mine is still extracting. It was 10 Zoom calls that were pretty long. It can take a while, but how long has it been going?
No, I will. I did see an error go through for specifically for Patrick's thing. Patrick, I believe you said that your calls are really long. I will reach out to you separately after this call to see what needs to be fixed for that. But we use GPT-4o and there is a context limit. It's hard to assign a duration on the call to what the context limit is on OpenAI side. But I will look at the logs and see what failed, and I'll reach out to you separately after the call to make sure that we can get your transcript sorted out.
Super. Thank you for help.
Yeah.
Patrick, do you want to refresh and just try with 5 maybe for now so you can still follow along? And then Kunal can work with you to get the rest of the 5 in after the call, if you want to do that.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, awesome. Cool. Let us know if the 5 work, actually. I'm curious now if at least 5 of those long ones will work. Katie, your question, you probably covered this yesterday, but is a transcript, a conversation, or one topic or a list of people talking about various things my business can help with? I'm over here copying out a bunch of people's posts off of a Facebook group, but skipping the comments with people's answers. Yes, so you would want the answers, not necessarily yours if you're copying and pasting from social media. So what you want to do is make sure that you really want to try and keep So this is something that I said yesterday, and I was thinking that this may have actually confused some of you too. So thank you for asking this. So a transcript typically is a one-on-one conversation with you and a customer, right? So the AI is really looking at each text file as representative of a customer. But we also talked about focus group transcripts, right? So that's a group of people talking. So in that case, you don't have to worry about cleaning it up. We've been doing this on our end with our focus group transcripts, and it works just fine. So don't overthink these at all. If you are creating these by copying and pasting it in, then it's better, if you can, to have each text file be representative of one customer. So that includes their posts, their comments, all of it, because that's a train of thought, right? So we want that train of thought from that one customer in one text file. Hopefully that answered that question. So if we don't have transcripts for a new startup biz, can we have can have ChatGPT you a series of transcripts specific to biz niche and use those? So Dominic, don't worry about doing that. So in all honesty, that's what we've done here for this demo, because we didn't want to use actual call transcripts to protect the privacy of the calls that we do have with you guys. But don't do this, and I'll tell you why, because it's a waste of your time. Hopefully you guys are using Brainstorm AI instead of ChatGPT. But yeah, don't do that, and I'll tell you why. Because when we go into the next step, which is the product playbooks, and we create your customer avatars, that is going to use the same GPT-4o that you're going to be using in ChatGPT to fill in those blanks. But the difference is ChatGPT has no context as to why you want these or what you're doing with them. Whereas the product playbooks, the AI built into the product playbooks, knows already exactly what blanks it's trying to fill for you. So again, the VOC is just a really optional step where you can use actual customer data, just like the multi-million-dollar companies do for their messaging. They do to pull in to your playbooks, and therefore every sales copy or marketing copy or messaging, that you're trying to put together for your offers. All right. Yeah, Katie, I know we're talking tomorrow. So we'll go over Brainstorm AI. So Brainstorm AI is exactly like ChatGPT if you're not pulling in your brand playbook or a product playbook. Okay. What makes it like a super powered version of ChatGPT instead of heyLevi, or your white label version of heyLevi, is that you can pull in brand and product playbook context. Now, when you say, hey, can you tell me, I want to run, we did this exercise that we did a workshop right before Black Friday where we were we pulled in our brand playbook and we pulled in the product playbook for the product that we wanted to actually push and promote. And we said, hey, what's a good, Black Friday offer that I could run that's going to resonate with my customer avatar? Now in ChatGPT, you're going to have to tell ChatGPT what you do, what your product is, what are you trying to actually promote, who that customer avatar is. You have to feed it a lot of context, right? The reason we do a playbooks first approach here, so that you do it once, you tell the AI once what it is that you do and who your customer avatar is and what their journey is with your brand and your products. And then the AI knows. So now when you want to, that's literally why it's called Brainstorm AI. When you want to do some quick brainstorming, you don't have to keep giving it context. It already knows. You just pull it in, you toggle it on. It's automatically pulling in your brand playbook by default, and you can ask questions. If there's no actual customer data, just skip this step. You're going to rely on Gen AI, which is what we're going to do next. We're going to rely on the generative AI. So generative AI is basically just generative, right? It's filling in the blanks. That's literally what Gen AI does. It looks and it predicts what should go in certain places. So with the context that it has in your product playbook for what product you're promoting, what it is, and a little bit about who you're targeting, it will fill in those blanks for you. It will try and create the dialogue for you. So again, what you would do in ChatGPT to create these transcripts, it's basically going to do that for you automatically in your customer avatars. That's where your voice of customer, that's where all of this analysis is getting pulled in, by the way. It's getting pulled into your customer avatar so that you can pull them into all of your sales and marketing copy. Yeah, Kitty, we can talk about that. So the top and left is too big. Okay. Yeah. We've actually revamped Brainstorm AI. So it does a lot of this stuff. So we can look at your account tomorrow. Don't want to get derailed here about Brainstorm AI, but there's two ways to access Brainstorm AI. Hopefully you guys are aware. There's one little bubble here at top right where it just slides right over. right? So if I do that, it'll just slide right over and I won't lose where I'm at with this. I can just have it slide in and I can quickly brainstorm some ideas to help me with whatever I'm working on in my main window here, right? So this is a great little slide out thing. I think Charles is on this call. We were going to take it away and then Charles asked us not to. So we can thank Charles for having that still in here. And then the other way, of course, is right in the menu. So brainstorm AI here. It will navigate away from this page though. So that's why this is kind of slightly better. It's a smaller window. If you need a bigger window and you don't care about what you're working on here, this is probably the way to go. Does it matter if I use a sales call transcript if we have closed the deal, or should we also upload calls that we didn't end up closing? Absolutely use calls that you didn't end up closing. Because there's going to be a lot of gold in those calls where the customer is trying to tell you what they wanted and they didn't find what they wanted or needed, right? And that's what you want to pull in. So that's going to give you data as to, yeah, absolutely. So that's going to give you data as to where maybe they were asking for something and you missed it. And how you can actually use that in more of your messaging once you have that, of course. And we're going to be doing a lot more with that stuff. So really excited about things that are coming out at the end of Q1. So keep an eye out for that. Hold on to those calls that you are closing and not closing, and start putting them in separate folders now. You're going to be able to do a lot more with those as well. All right. Okay, so I'm going to get back to this. So once you're done with this, go ahead and save it. Right? Just go ahead and save this here. And now it will live. You can have as many voice of customers as you want. So you really want one for every type of customer. Here, I've literally just duplicated it because I've used my brand customer avatar in the same set of transcripts. So I'm probably going to go ahead and delete one of these, but just to work through it with you guys, right? Again, keep in mind that for every like set of customers, maybe you serve, this is an example again I used yesterday, but maybe you serve local businesses, right? But that could mean local service businesses. Maybe you work with interior designers, but you also work with plumbing and HVAC. Well, your messaging is going to be pretty different for both of those categories, even though they're both home services, I think, right? So really keep in mind, like, okay, does it make sense for me to have one messaging strategy for both of these, or does it make sense to separate them? I think maybe plumbing and electrical or whatever could probably go in one. HVAC could probably all be in one, but something like interior design, I would want to put in separately. Okay, great. What about notes from your meetings? So we've had this actually come up internally as well. Like, can we just use our notes? So I say don't do that. I mean, if you want to do it, if you're like, my notes were fantastic, I got everything down exactly how my customer said it. But we're human and our human brains paraphrase, right? And so when we're taking notes, we tend to paraphrase what our customers are saying. We tend to shorten it. We'll tend to like write down like little key words that caught our attention, but not all of what they're saying. And it's really the stuff that we miss on these calls that are often the places where the most marketing gold lies. Yeah. Okay. You have fantastic notes not taken by a human. Okay. Yeah. So you can go ahead and upload those if they're really representative of what your clients are saying. Absolutely. All right, cool. Give me, sorry for my ones and zeros. I just feel like it's the quickest way to get a quick temperature feel to make sure that everyone's still, so let me know is everyone here? Does everyone have their first VOC? For those of you that do have, that are working through this. For those of you that don't, now is where you're going to be able to work alongside us. But I want to make sure that for those of you that are creating the VOC along with us, that you have it. Okay, Dominic says, you're good. Anybody else still working through it? Give me a 0 if you're still working through it. And a 1 if you're done. If you're ready to move on, let me know. Cool. All right, Patrick, I know that you're still trying to. Patrick, did your 5 transcripts work?
Yeah, the 5 transcripts came in, but then when I went to extract them, it kind of froze again. So I'm kind of like looking at the transcripts and see if there's something I can cut out of them,
Oh man, okay.
So, because they were long Zoom calls that, an hour long kind of thing, So,
Okay.
but I'm looking at them to see if there's stuff that's just, personal blah 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 that I might be able to check out,
Yeah, we're looking to switch to a different model. Like Gemini has a much longer context length, 1 million tokens versus OpenAI at 200K. So we're
Oh,
looking
yeah.
at moving to that. Once that happens, these things will not happen. But unfortunately, really long transcripts right now have that problem that they hit the context limit and OpenAI can't process those. So that kind of craps out. And if it's still spinning, most likely what's happened is that there is a bug in the code that I need to fix where it didn't handle that response from OpenAI correctly, and it's kind of stuck. So I'll fix that, but I'll set up something with you to go over what we can do to reduce this and still make it work for you.
Good. Appreciate you guys' help. You're awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, we're making this better and better, I promise. All right, guys. So now I'm keeping an eye on the time, and I want to make sure that we are pulling this in where we really need this. Okay. The good news is what we're about to do next is the fun part, depending on how social you are. But this is where we get to actually pull that VOC into customer avatars. Oh shoot, I'm in a starter account and it won't let me create a new product playbook. But this is where I'm just going to go into this product that I have here. So for you guys, this is where you want to think about, do you have an existing product playbook where you want to update your customer avatars with all this gold that you just uploaded and analyzed into the system? Or do you want to create a new product playbook? This isn't a, you have to make a decision now and you'll never be able to change it later kind of thing. Just, decide for now what it is that you want to do. But either way works. Really what's important is if you are creating one from scratch, just go ahead and quickly put in the name of the product, what it is, right? Put in a quick description. Select your product or service here. Make sure that the target audience, again, is correct for this product playbook. And then it'll ask you here, do you want to use VOC? If you're just updating a product playbook, you can do what I'm doing right now, which is it says use VOC. I'm going to make sure that this is selected, which I have right now, right? You can choose 1, 2, or 3 avatars, depending on how much you've already niched down on this audience. If you feel like it's still pretty broad and you're like, I think I could do with 2 or 3 customer avatars, do that. Okay, Dominic, I lost you there. Tell me where I lost you. You can just unmute.
Okay, great. So yeah, I have an existing brand playbook. May I share my screen real quick?
Yes, we're in product playbooks though, not in your brand playbook.
Okay, that's why I'm lost. I think I'll be right with you. No problem. Thanks.
Okay, yeah, no worries. So again, the brand playbook is meant to really be this broader customer avatar, broad stuff. So we're not pulling in VOC into the brand playbook anywhere. We're pulling these into our product playbooks because these are more for your sales messaging. Okay, you can use it in your marketing messaging as well, but the real gold is in when you use it in your sales messaging because you're mirroring. And again, remember when you're mirroring a customer's language, they automatically believe that you have the solution as well. Any of you who have read Chris Voss, he actually talks about how he has been able to diffuse some very high risk terrorist situations just by mirroring. It's pretty genius. So anyway, okay, coming back to our use case. Went off on a tangent there with terrorism. Cool. So once you're in here, go ahead and either generate your personas or regenerate them, depending on whether you're creating them for the first time or you're just updating an existing playbook. So go ahead and regenerate your personas here if you need. I'm actually just going to keep this here because this is literally the same product and I've already used VOC. But you should see these really, really deep and very, very detailed customer avatars here. And again, I want to make sure that you guys have this because remember that VOC is pulled into a couple of things. So it'll get pulled into, let's say, for example, your sales page module. In the sales page module, there are FAQs. Those FAQs are actually pulling from VOC if you have one saved in there. Okay. But other than that, it's really just the power of the VOC is really in these customer avatars. So make sure you do this step. This is the most important step. Those of you that are not doing VOC because you don't have that customer data at this time, again, make sure that you're doing this step at least. This is the, again, most important step because this is where the AI itself is going to fill in those blanks for you if you don't have the data to give it. And it's going to use literally those same quotes everywhere from your VOC, from your actual transcripts in your customer avatar. This is like huge because most people will have very generic customer avatars. When you have customer avatars that are truly representative of who your actual customers are, then these become a whole lot more more powerful to work with, right? So once you have these, if this is a new product playbook, just go ahead and save it for now. You can go all the way down and just save it. It's going to give you an alert like this. Are you sure you want to save? It's incomplete. Don't be worried. We just want you to save your customer avatars for now. What you will want to do, and the homework for today, is to come in and complete your product playbook. You need to have at least one product playbook in your system, right? So you'll want to come in and either finish updating your product playbook after this point. So the positioning and the messaging and all of that, the features and the benefits and all of those things. Or if you're creating it from scratch, just go ahead and click the buttons and it'll produce all of that for you. Just give it a once over, make sure everything looks good to you, and then you'll want to save it. So that's your homework for today. But before I do that, actually, let me go back in here. There is now, for those of you that aren't yet aware, we've been talking about this in Facebook, but there's a speak to me button here. Okay. We've had a lot of amazing feedback from you guys, but I want to make it clear what the use case and the purpose of this one is, right? Some of you have asked, like, how do I record these calls? How do I use this as sales training? That is actually literally an agent that we are building out right now. We're going to have a Q1 release by the end of March. Okay. So that's going to be a whole different system. That's going to help you actually get better at sales specifically. This one here, the reason you'll want to speak to your customer avatar is you can practice your sales pitch. Yes. You want to see what kind of language resonates with them. Hint, hint, it's all here. Everything that's going to resonate with them is all here. Okay. We've had a few of our users use this and say they had to fire their clients because they were just not getting on the same page and the customer avatar was not having it. It was giving them a hard time. So we are reworking this as well. We're going to make this a little bit easier on you guys. We don't want to give you such a hard time. But the idea is to really have these customer avatars be like real humans, right? If you call one of your ideal customer avatars, as ideal as they are, they're probably going to be suspicious of what you are trying to sell them, and B, they're going to be short on time. Everybody's busy, right? They will only want to talk to you if you have something of value to give them. So that's why we kind of made these this way, because we want you to use this to warm them up, and then you can ask them any question, right? We've been testing it on our side, and we can ask them, what is it that you want to see in my offer to make it something that you would want to buy? Right? What would you want to see this priced at? I did a demo on the call yesterday. My customer avatar is giving me a hard time and like, I don't want to talk about price right now. So we are like going to change it a little bit because we really want these customer avatars to be collaborative. The idea here is that you can talk to them. They're not real people. You don't like what you're saying and you want to try again, just hang up on them, call them back. They're not actually a real human. So they're not going to remember that you just called them and you like abused them and you hung up on them. They're not going to care. But so honestly, just have fun with this. You will be blown away by how much gold there is in this and what the value that you can get out of this. They literally
care. They're not going to care, but please be polite to AI. They will eventually be ruling us. So I'd stay polite to the AI and not.
Yeah, you never know, guys. Let's not be the first ones to get killed if that happens. I feel like this call is gonna get taken down. I've been talking about terrorism. I'm talking about being killed. I don't know. This is like really sus. All right. So getting back on track here. Yeah, make sure that you read this stuff because this is actually what is going to help you soften the customer avatar. We're also going to be rolling out some updates today where we're going to make them more collaborative than they even are today. They're collaborative, but you have to warm them up a little bit. We're going to turn that down because again, the idea here is not to help you become better cold callers. Sorry. The idea here is to help you collaborate with your ideal customers so you can perfect your offer before you even get it out there into the real world. Okay, so with that, it's 9:47. We're going to wrap it up, but do we have any volunteers here who would like to share their screen and have a conversation with their customer avatar? Yeah, Dominic's going to go for it. Awesome. Let's do it.
Okay, so I've got this pulled up over here. You want me to click speak to me? Do you have share audio so the audio comes through?
Yes, it should come through. Yeah. You want to go ahead and share your screen first before you click that?
Yeah, let me do that and share the audio. Someone's got to make a fool of themselves and may as well be me.
I went first yesterday, if it makes you feel any better.
All right, there you go. All right, you see it now?
Yes,
Click
go
speak.
for it.
Now, just to understand this, I'm gonna do a call like I was doing a sales call, correct?
Correct. You're cold calling this customer. Again, we're going to be changing this a little bit today so that you don't have to warm them up as much. But yeah, they're
Okay.
probably going to pick up and be like, I'm really busy. What is this about? And then you just like, hey, try saying, I got your number from a friend of mine. They told me that you were struggling with whatever the pain point is here. I
Okay.
have something that's going to, probably help. And then,
All right.
go from there.
So I don't need to read the text here, basically just shoot from the hip. Got it.
Yes.
Hello, who is this?
Hey, hi, this is Dominic with Jumbo Containers.
Okay, what can I do for you, Dominic?
Yeah, I had been looking at your LinkedIn profile and noticed that as a contractor, you might have a need for some shipping containers to store materials for some of your projects.
I am not a contractor. I run a pop-up retail space. Are you sure you've got the right person?
Well, even for a pop-up retail space, we can provide turnkey solutions with various sizes of shipping containers delivered directly to your location at a very good price.
Okay, that sounds a bit more like what I need. I'm looking to rent a shipping container for my business to use as a pop-up space. I need to review a quote before making a decision.
Great. Would you be interested in a 20-footer or a 40-foot long container?
I'm not entirely sure about the size. I guess it depends on the price and how it fits on my space. What kind of doors do they have? I'm really hoping for sliding doors.
Sure. So we can provide you with either a 20-foot or a 40-foot container, double doors, meaning doors on both ends of the container, or doors on one end, or doors on the length of the container that do slide and fold out. So you have the full frontal space of the container available.
Okay, sliding doors sound good. I need to know more about the price though. And how long does the whole customization process take?
Sure. So what would be the zip code that you would have the container be delivered to?
It's 97,202.
All right, based on that zip code, a 20-foot container configured as per our discussion would be $29.99, and a 40-foot container would be $44.99.
Okay, those numbers are a bit higher than I expected. What about the customization and insulation? Are there any options to make it more comfortable? And also, what are the rental terms? I'm not looking to get stuck into any long-term commitments.
Sure, so we can schedule a complete customization call with our customization team. And regarding rent-to-own options, we have flexible options that can be as little as 2 months on up to 4 years.
Okay, that's good to know. 2 months sounds like a minimum that I can live with. Can you tell me more about the insulation options before we schedule a call with the customization team?
Sure. What are you looking for in terms of insulation? Are you looking to protect against low temperatures, or what is it specifically you're concerned about?
Well, I need something that keeps the space comfortable for customers. I don't want it to be too hot in the summer or too cold in the winter. So insulation to regulate the temperature would be ideal.
That's not a problem. So we can do either hand blown or rolled insulation, your option. And we'd be happy to
Okay,
quote
that
that.
sounds promising. Okay, that's great. I think I'm ready to schedule that customization call then. When can we set that up?
Great. So what do you have in mind for your schedule? Maybe we can plug in something on our schedule that meets yours.
How's tomorrow afternoon?
Excellent. How about 2 o'clock Eastern time?
I think you may be in a different time zone. I'm in Portland, Oregon, so I'm in the Pacific time zone.
That's fine. That would be 11 a.m. your time. Would that work for you?
Yes, that works for me.
Excellent. May I have an email address where I can send you a link to our call so that you can just join us live?
Sure, it's emily.crafts@email.com.
Okay, I've got it. And what's a good phone number for us to also be able to back that up with an SMS for you?
503456789.
Great. And are you the decision maker, or will you have the decision maker also available during that call?
Yes, I'm the decision maker.
Okay, great. So we'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Are there any other questions I can answer for you?
No, I think that's all for now. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.
Thank you for your time. Have a great day. Okay, there you go.
That was awesome. Good job. You just closed your customer avatar.
Yeah, I don't think Dominic needs VOCs.
I don't know. We can all use improvement, trust me.
That was awesome. Yeah. So hopefully, did you guys like see how much value you can get out of it? She literally, even though that was like formatted as a sales call, she literally told you, Dominic, exactly what she wants to hear or see in your offer for her to buy. She literally spelled it all out for you.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Now, is that recorded anywhere for a transcript for learning purposes?
Yeah, so that's what I was saying earlier. A lot of you have asked. We don't have a transcript version for this because this is just meant to be a quick, like another version of brainstorm with your customer avatar, what needs to go next in your product playbook so that you can flesh out your offers, right? In the sales agent that we have coming out, that's going to be a lot more robust, where you'll be able to define exactly what kind of customer this is. Have you talked to them before? Are they like a warm audience, cold audience? You'll be able to record this. The AI is going to tell you exactly what you could have improved on all these different levels. So it's going to be a lot more robust that way. That being said, I'm actually curious. I'm going to put it back to you guys. Do you feel the need to also record these, considering that the use case for this is simply to flesh out your offers? Okay, getting a lot of yeses and thumbs ups. Okay. All right, cool.
May I add one other quick question for you here? Given the advent of the GHL voice agent or voice receptionist, is there a way to merge this into that prompt?
Well, have you heard of our Promptoneer tool?
Sorry?
Have you heard of the heyLevi Promptoneer tool?
No.
Okay, so if you, let's see. Yeah, keep scrolling. You see the Promptoneer under Intelligence Hub? This one here, this tool is built specifically for you to create your voice AI prompt. You can just copy and paste it right in. You'll be able, so we have a free version too. I don't know if you've seen us share this in the GHL community. The free version, the disadvantage there is it's pretty good for what it is. I mean, you just drop a URL in and it will pull everything in from your website. But here it's allowing you to pull in products. You can do multiple products. If you want your voice AI agent in GHL to be trained on multiple products, you can pull those in here from your playbooks. You can pull in your custom brand voice, which you can't do on the free one. So this one is like the more robust version, but yeah, that's exactly what this is built for.
Got it. Super. Outstanding. On a scale of 1 to 10, this is a 1,000.
Awesome. Love to hear that. All right, guys. So your homework for today is going to be finishing up your product playbook. Use that custom avatar. Use this tool. Please use this tool to really iron out the rest of your offer. Again, if you're just updating a product playbook, go in and see how you can improve it just by talking to your customer avatar. If this is a brand new offer, again, talk to your customer avatar to see how you can flesh out the rest of it. But yeah, your homework for today is simply to make sure that your brand playbook is up to date, and that you finish up your product playbook with the tools that we've given you today. Sound good? Awesome. We're going to show you how to like bring all of this together for your marketing, for your sales tomorrow. You're going to walk away with some actual copy that you can go plug in and you start using right away. If you guys have, actually, before you go, if you guys have any votes, any specific pieces of content that you're hoping to create tomorrow, drop that in the chat for me right now so we can make sure that we cover those. We're going to show you how to use your VOC, use your customer avatars, the super detailed, awesome ones that you just created today, to pull those into your copy tomorrow. We're going to start with something really simple, like building an email newsletter. But anything else that you feel like would be valuable for you to work through with us on the call, let us know. We probably have time, depending on which modules we're using, 2 to 3 pieces of copy you'll be able to just completely get done and walk away with that tomorrow. All right. Okay, we have some feedback. If there's a way for the conversation to flesh out the offer, meaning a recap of what was said in the conversation, that would be key to consider. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we can look into that for sure. Thank you for that feedback. Awesome. I feel like I missed a question here. I noticed the calls normally end with a call schedule. Is that by design? What if the goal is to get the credit card for the sale? Will that change anything? No, it's really whatever you have. The AI is being whatever your customer avatar is. So if you want to change any details in there before you call them, you can do that. These customer avatars are completely editable, right? So hopefully you see the edit button at the bottom. I know I'm not sharing my screen right now, but at the bottom of each expanded customer avatar card, you'll see an edit button. You can go in, edit your customer avatar. And then again, really, if it's whatever product that you have. So if you're like, if you don't say, hey, do you want to get on I think Dominic, you said, do you want to schedule an appointment or something? I think the conversation kind of was led by you towards that, right? So yeah, so the customer avatar isn't going to tell you what they want next. It's unless it makes sense with the product that you're selling. But usually you get to direct that. So for heyLevi, we're like, hey, why don't you go check out our starter plan at heylevi.ai, and there she's like, cool. But yeah, it really is whatever you want it to be. Those goals are going to be in the agent that I was talking about that we are working on for Q1, the sales agent. All of those more sales focused things are going to be there. Again, the use case for this is only to flesh out your offer. Cool. Yes, Katie. And one day when these AIs are actually buying our stuff and putting money in our pockets, they kind of are already, right? They're putting money in our pockets, I'd say. My product is AI Staff, a version of AI Employee. Could you help me build out some social posts for that? Absolutely, yeah. So we can look at social media posts tomorrow. Is there a recording of day one? Yeah, we have. Let me see if I can send out the recordings today. We were going to wait until Friday to send out all 3 days of the recordings, but I do have yesterday's recording. So if that's helpful to watch before tomorrow, I'm happy to send that out. We'll do that for sure. All right, thanks guys. It's right at the time. I was going to say right on the money for the time. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm going to stay respectful of your time. Thank you guys for joining us today, and we will see you for day 3 tomorrow. All right, guys. Bye. Thank you.